Welcome to Beginner's Yoga Flow. I'm going to try and make this session as basic as I can and suitable for most people. However, if you have any injuries, any issues with your back and your knees, or high blood pressure, or maybe you're pregnant, then please get in touch with us at Pirates before you do this workout. Grab a little bit of space. I haven't got a lot of extra space at home, so I've moved all the furniture. I'm expecting the cat to come in any moment, so it could be interesting. But I've got enough space here for my mat and just a little bit of space either side and either end, which I hope will work. So let's find a nice comfortable seated position and let's sit tall. Let's lengthen through the spine all the way to the top of the head. And I'm going to invite you to close your eyes just for a few moments and settle the breath. So in yoga we breathe in through the nose and we breathe out of the nose if possible. However, if you can't do that, just breathe however and whenever. So inhaling deeply, see if you can expand your belly with breath. Feel free to bring your hand up onto your stomach if that helps. Inhale, expanding the belly. Exhaling, letting it deflate again, going back to its normal shape. Let's do that a few more times. Inhaling into the belly. Exhaling, letting the breath go slowly. And then just move your focus up the body a little bit towards the rib cage. And now let's see if we can inhale and expand through the rib cage. And again, if you want to bring your hands up, you can. You can just feel that your fingers are moving gently on the in-breath and then moving again on the out-breath. So inhaling through the rib cage, feeling the ribs rise, spread, making way for the breath. And then let's switch our focus a bit higher, bringing it up into the chest, inhaling. Feeling the movement now in the chest, maybe into the collarbones and the shoulders. And then as you continue to breathe deeply, consciously, let's breathe into all those three sections of the body. So inhaling the whole of the front of the body, inhaling. Exhaling slowly, letting everything go back to its normal position and shape. And if you continue to breathe like this, you'll start to feel your body calming down, slowing down. And maybe you'd like to imagine that you're breathing in all the things that your body and your mind need today. Whatever those things are for you, inhaling them into the center of your body, expanding with fresh energy. Our prana, as we call it in yoga, our chi, our ki. And then as we exhale, as we breathe out, we're removing anything that we want to be rid of from the body and the mind, any negative energy. Any fear, any worries, just breathe it away. And we aim to continue to breathe like this as we practice. And it can take a little bit of time to get used to the focus on the breath when you do yoga, but just do the best you can. So I'm going to ask you to gently open your eyes, but at any point during the session, you want to close them again and just take yourself inside and how your body's feeling right now. Connect back to the breath and feel free. So we're sitting as tall as we can, lengthen. Rather than leaning back, we keep the chest up. Let's breathe together again. Inhale and lift the arms high above your head. The feeling is that you're bringing your ribs away from your hips. Then as you exhale, gently bring your right hand down to the floor and take the left arm over. So just softening that right elbow. moving the left shoulder blade to the wall behind you, maybe gently tucking in your chin and looking up. Then on a big inhale, we're going to come back up again. And as we exhale, we're going to go the other way. So gently bringing the hand down, coming into a side bend. So we're stretching the muscles from the hip all the way up to the shoulder and even beyond the elbow, lengthening the arm and the fingers. Now we're going to inhale up. And as we exhale, I'd like you to twist. We're going to turn. I'm turning to the left side of my mat first. I'm bringing my right hand to the side of the knee, the other hand going to the floor behind my body. Let's sit up tall again and then just gently turn the body round. So we're opening through the belly, the ribs, the chest, just turning away. Just noticing where you feel that twist in your body right now. Release it, inhale up. Exhale, and we're twisting the other way, whatever way that is for you. And again, if you use your hand at the side of the leg, just use it like a lever, and then you can really open the body and turn further. And the other hand is there on the floor to offer your body some support so you don't start to lean back. Okay, coming back to me, inhale again, growing a bit taller with each one. As we exhale this time, bring your hands together behind your body into the root of the fingers, clasp the knuckles together and then push the knuckles down beyond your tailbone towards the floor. And we're drawing the shoulders away from the ears, creating lots of length, opening the front of the shoulders. So I'm sure over the next few weeks, like me, we'll all be on the keyboard, on the phone, on the iPad. We want to make sure that our muscles don't shorten over this period of time. We keep them nice and long. Inhale, stretching up. And last one, exhale. As we do that, I want you to reach forward to me and come down into a forward fold. And you can bring your hands down onto the floor or onto your legs, on the mat, whatever feels best for you. While we're in our forward fold, press your sitting bones down into the floor and just feel your hips gently there. And we're getting a stretch into the lower back. So if you have any issues with your lower back, go easy. Don't take it so far. And make sure you're pulling your stomach muscles in. That is key if you've got a lower back issue. You need to brace your abdominals. Good. Let's gently bring ourselves up. And I want you to release your legs. Just take them out in front of you for a moment. Give them a little shake. Okay, so let's warm up a little bit more. I'm going to turn sideways on the mat now, and I'm going to line up into horse stance, which is like a box position. So look down at your hands and take them shoulder distance apart, and then can you spread your fingers out quite wide? So you've got a nice strong base. We're strengthening the muscles in the hands, the wrists, the arms, the shoulders, all the way up. Then look back at your legs and let's position the knees under the hips, and the knees are hip distance apart. And then we're looking down into the floor, but we're not dropping the head too low, just looking at the space between the hands on the mat so the spine is nice and long, all the way from the back of the neck to your tailbone. And gently lift your belly. I'd like you to keep your hips as still as you can, keeping that brace through the belly. And on your next inhale, can you bring your right arm just off the mat and reach it forward? Your thumb is pointing up like a hitchhiker and you're just lengthening away. Then on your next inhale, keeping your balance if you can, pick up your left leg. So it's opposite leg to arm, and you're flexing the foot and you're pushing the leg away. And then you might feel a little bit wobbly. Your balancing muscles are waking up, which is absolutely fine. Can you stay here for 2 more breaths? If you've done a little yoga before, then maybe come with me now into a half bow where we curl the heel in. We're going to take the right hand round, reach across to the left foot, and then lift the chest. So we're feeling a stretch through the front of the right shoulder and the front of the left hip. Deep breaths. And then as we exhale, bring it all the way back down. And from here, press your hips back towards your feet. We're coming into a narrow child's pose, and you can let your head go all the way to the floor. Maybe here you'd like to bring your arms at the sides of the body with the palms up and just snuggle a little bit lower. Okay, so coming forward again into horse stance, let's line ourselves up the same care as before. Shoulders above wrists, fingers spread wide, knees under hips, belly lifted, neck long. So on the in-breath, we lift and lengthen the left arm, stretching out into the space in front of you, keeping the shoulders in line as best you can. Then on your next inhale, the right leg, right foot flexing, toes pointing down, stretch. And as you stretch, breathe, inhaling deeply, exhaling completely. Again, holding in your pointer pose, or left hand reaching for the top of the right foot, and then we lift up into that hip and shoulder stretch. Exhale, let it all go. Bring the limbs back down, and now take your knees wide and bring your big toes together and press back into a wider child's pose. So now we're just opening out the hips a little. Make sure you're pressing your hips down. So rather than here, you're back here, and we can lengthen the arms out across the mat and let the forehead drop. Okay, let's gently rise. Can you take your right arm under your left arm? It's called threading the eye of the needle. And then just turn your face to the side. Make sure your hips are moving back. Shoulder stretch. Back to the middle. Inhale. Exhale and switch. Then coming back to the middle again, we're going to line up for our first downward facing dog. So come forward a little, knees come closer. I want you to tuck your toes underneath, I hope you can see. And then on an exhale, we push the mat away and we lift up into a triangle. And I think it's probably time I took my long sleeve top off now. And warmer, ready. So hands shoulder distance, or up. And in downward facing dog, we want to feel the stretch, the entire back of the body. So push into the floor with your hands, lift your tailbone, let go of the head, let it just hang, nice and loose. And looking back at the feet, we're going to bend one knee at a time, and we're just going to walk through the feet and legs. Feel the stretch through the feet, the ankles, the lower calves. Let's just do a couple more. And then pause. From here, I'd like you to bend both knees. See if you can make your shins parallel with the mat. Your chest comes forward just a little. Inhale, this is called crouch. And as we exhale, take it back to downward facing dog. Inhale, crouch. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's do that one more time. Inhale to crouch and exhale to downward facing dog. Let's just gently bring the knees down one more time, release the feet and press back into child's pose. So from your child's pose, bring yourselves up gently, bring your knees a bit closer together, and from here we're going to come into a simple lunge. Just step your front foot forward on the mat and allow your hips to just drop a little. So opening through the front of that back hip. Bring your hands down on the mat, either side of the front foot. And then on your next in-breath, can you open up the front arm and come into a twist? So we have a lunge twist going on. In your twist, we want to move the belly round towards the inner thigh. We want to open the chest and draw the top shoulder blade back. Now you can stay right here, or if you want to make your lunge and your twist a little more demanding, then try tucking your back foot under and lifting the back knee away from the floor. Inhaling into the centre of your body. Exhaling, twisting and opening up the front. From our lunge twist, let's gently bring the front hand back down onto the floor. I'm going to come into a slightly more advanced pose called pigeon to do some more work on our hips. So have a little look. From here, bring the weight into your hands so that you can lift the front leg and fold it in. And then you can bring the back knee down and let go of that back foot. So as you have a look at your front leg, your knee is close towards your front wrist and the foot is going diagonally across the mat towards the back hip. And then start to wriggle your back foot a bit further away from you. Lower your belly and your chest and then just release the upper body down to the floor. Now there should be no pain in your front knee. There should be a lot of discomfort going on through the glutes, but if there's pain, then please take a seat and bend the back leg, and then you can come into another pose which is called deer pose, which is still great for opening out the hips and working on the muscles in the glutes, muscles in your butt. So pigeon or deer pose. Let's just hold for a moment. Just noticing where we're feeling it. Trying to let go of the back of the shoulders and the back of the neck. In fact, try and release any tensions that you're holding on to at all with your breath. Just exhale them away now. From here, you could stay in your pigeon much longer. Feel free to pause this film whenever you want to. So you could stay in pigeon, or if you want to, you can come up, lifting the chest, then bend the leg at the back, walk your hands away from me and reach for the back foot with your back hand, and then bring the shoulders in line with the front of the mat again. So you've turned your pigeon into a swan, and you can draw that back foot in wherever you want to be finding a nice stretch through the quads and the front of that back hip. So you could be here, you could be here, or you could still be down in your swan pigeon. Okay, so let's release our swan, come up out of our pigeon. Bring your hands down on the mat, roughly shoulder distance apart. Can you tuck your back foot under, lifting the knee, and then push the mat away, coming into a plank. I love a plank. So we've got to incorporate some into our yoga today. Important, we have the shoulders directly above the wrists. So we're not back here, we're not over here either. We've got that straight line down. And then if it's too much, if you're a beginner, then just gently drop to your knees, but keep the knees quite far away from you. So if you're here and your butt is up, your core muscles will not be working. So that's fine, you're in a pointer pose, and that is an option too. But if you want to give your core muscles a workout, you need to take the knees further away from you and take your butt lower than your shoulders. So your plank on your knees would look like this, and on your toes would look something like this. Then can you draw your shoulders back, lift your belly, squeeze your butt, and if you're on your toes, you also need to lift your thighs. Squeeze your thigh muscles too. So you should be able to feel most of your body working in a plank. Let's all then drop to the knees, and we're going to go through a little series of moves. In yoga we call it a vinyasa. So from your plank, we're going to go down about halfway with the chest, and you're feeling your core and your arms working. And then when you get to halfway, drop the hips, Release your feet, tuck the elbows in, and on your in-breath, lift your chest up in a cobra. Just a little baby cobra here. It's designed to work your back muscles, so feel your back there, go lower if you need to, and give your butt another squeeze. That will help support your lower back. From here, we're going to move to downward facing dog. So come up. You can go back onto your knees if you want to make it easier. Tuck toes, exhale, and we're back up into our downward facing dog. And at this point, you might want to walk through the feet and legs again. Just loosen up. Then I'd like you to pause. Bend your knees and crouch. And I want you to step your back foot between your hands. So you could come all the way down onto your knees and step the back foot forward, or if you're a little more flexible, from crouch you can just step or swing the back leg forward. Then we're all going to bring the back knee down and release the back foot. So we're in our lunge again, our simple lunge. On your next inhale, twist away from me. So open the chest to the wall behind you. Option 1 to stay here. Option 2 to work the back leg. So we tuck the foot under, we lift the knee, we're squeezing the thigh, we're feeling the front of the hip, we're feeling the twist as the belly moves to the leg. The shoulders move back and the chest opens. So just enjoy that pose for a moment. Inhale as we exhale, bring your hand back to the floor. Transition to pigeon pose now, like we did before on the other side. Weight in the hands, fold the front leg in. Take your time. Back leg slides away. We're aiming to bring the front of this hip down as much as we can. We're feeling work in the glutes on the other side, and then let your body release down into the mat. Remember your option, any pain in the knee, please use deer pose. Just come down a little way. Let's just give it again a few more breaths. Maybe then you want to rise up. You could stay in your pigeon, or do you want to try swan on this side? If so, bend the leg behind you. Walk towards me this time and reach for the inside of that foot, drawing the foot in where you want it to go, and then bring the shoulders back in line with the front edge of your mat. How's that one? Okay, so release your swan or your pigeon. Hands down on the mat, shoulder distance apart. Let's find downward facing dog again. So tuck under, and on the exhale, uncurl your legs. Bring your feet close together and lift your hips. And once more, walk through the legs. Okay, so from here, if you've had enough of being in your downward facing dog, your option is to come down now into child's pose and just rest for the next few breaths. Or if you want something a little more challenging, stay in downward facing dog, and on your next inhale, can you lift the front leg? But coming into something called three-legged dog. You're taking the heel quite high. Keep the shoulders in line with each other. And when you've taken your foot up as high as you can, bend the knee and curl your heel across your body towards the back shoulder. So think about opening the front of your hip towards me. Try not to store any tension in your neck, just release. Push the mat away, feel the stretch of the entire back of the body again. 2 more breaths in your three-legged dog if you're able to. On the exhale, come back to downward facing dog. Take the knees wide and recover in child's pose. Before we do the other side, let's come back to our plank. So we've done plank once, let's do it another time. Line up the shoulders above the wrists, take your hands shoulder distance apart, and then decide what you're going to do with your legs. So either lengthen them away or drop to the knees. Remember, we're here, we're only here if that's all you can do, because remember, in this position your core muscles will not be working. So the knees would need to go further away, the hips would need to go down, or we're on our toes. So let's push the mat away with the hands, let's be strong through the entire body here. So we're going to be moving down into our vinyasa. Again, you can drop to the knees, or maybe try it on your toes this time. So on the exhale, we're going halfway down, like a reverse tricep press up. When you get halfway down, then let go of the legs, the hips, and bring the chest forward on the inhale to cobra. We're working the back, so squeeze your butt, roll the shoulders away, lift the chest. And then exhale to downward facing dog. And again, if you want your recovery, child's pose is there for you, or come with me to three-legged dog. On the inhale, we're going to lift the back leg this time, heel high to ceiling. Remember not to twist the upper body, keep the shoulders in line with each other, push into the floor of the hands, and then when everything feels like it's lengthening out, curl the heel into the opposite shoulder. Lots of strength going on in your body right now. 2 more breaths if you can. Exhale to release back to downward facing dog. So if you've been having a recovery during this time and you're in child's pose, come back up into downward facing dog so that we can all do the same thing at the same time. And what I'd like you to do is lift your stomach muscles, soften your knees, and take a walk up your mat. Just little baby steps. Getting closer to your hands, maybe lifting up onto your fingertips so that you can walk right to the front of your mat. And then bring your hands either side of your feet and let go of the head, the neck and the shoulders. Forward fold. And make sure here that you've got your knees bent a lot. So we're taking pressure away from the hamstrings and the lower back by doing that. And we want to bring the belly onto the legs as much as we can. Let your shoulders just cascade away from your body. Aim to press the fingers down into the floor, lengthening the arms. Then on your next in-breath, can you bring your hands onto your shins with the fingers pointing down, and then start to straighten the legs and lengthen your spine. Now I'm aiming here to have my body parallel with the floor as much as I can judge. I'm just going to step back a bit in case you can't see me. So from our flat back position, let's start to bend the knees again. Bring the hands down onto the floor, fold one leg behind you and come and take a seat back on the mat. From here, let's extend the right leg and let's fold the left leg in with the sole of the foot just resting on the inner thigh. Let's sit really tall, so can you pull the flesh back from under you so you're sitting firmly on your sitting bones. On your in-breath, let's sweep the arms up high, lifting through the ribs, and then on the out-breath, let's fold forward and see what we can take hold of here. It might be your foot, it might be your ankle, it might be your calf. Just come into a forward fold here, working on the hamstrings again. Just let go of the upper body. Just give it a couple of breaths, continuing to flex your foot. relaxing your shoulders as best you can. Then on your in-breath, sit yourselves up. Let's bend the right leg too, so we've got both legs bent. And as a little counter stretch for that forward fold, let's come into a spiral twist. So bring your left hand down onto the floor, close to your hips, and on your next inhale, sweep your right arm up and over your head, lifting the hip bones up to the ceiling, pushing with the hand, opening out the front of the body after all the folding we've done. And then let it go. Then we're going to change. So we are going to have to think about that quite a lot for a moment, but I've got it. We've got the left leg out and the right leg folded in. And again, we're doing our single leg fold. So flex your foot, excuse the plaster. Make the leg as strong and long as you can. Pull the flesh back from under you so you're sitting tall. Inhale, find that breath. And exhale to lengthen forward. Again, holding on to something where you're feeling a stretch, but you're not forcing it. And then we give it a little bit of time for our body to sink into the pose. Inhale to rise. Let's bend both legs again, coming into the spiral twist on the other side. So right hand coming down, left arm circling. Inhale and we're up. Remember, we're doing this as counter stretch for all the folding forward. Now we're opening out the muscles that we've been squashing up. Inhale as we exhale, slowly bring yourselves down and come and lie on your mat, the best bit. Let's bring the soles of the feet together and ease ourselves down. This is butterfly pose. So we're feeling a gentle stretch going on for the inner thighs. Would you like to take your arms up and over the chest, the head, so that you're opening out the whole of the front of the body? Just bring your focus to your lower back for a moment. Make sure it's not too high. If it is, just bring it back down, even if it means the knees come up a little higher. And then you might like to just close your eyes for a few breaths. And we're allowing all the benefits of our poses to sink into the body. Not just the muscles and the joints, but all the systems that make us healthy, happy, make our bodies work efficiently. Just find your breath again. Let's just give it a couple more. And then if you're nice and warm already, you might want to just lengthen your legs out across the mat. Bring your arms gently at the sides of the body, turning the palms up. Or if you're not so warm, just take a moment to add some extra items of clothing now. So continuing to rest in corpse pose, Shavasana. Or if you prefer, coming back to where we started, coming back to a seated position. I'm going to invite you to just spend the next few minutes letting the workout come to an end with some relaxation and meditation. So when you've found the position that works best for you, close your eyes or take your eye gaze down and soften it. If you're still in Shavasana, corpse pose, try and get as much of your back on the floor as you can. So be long from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Tuck in your chin and lengthen through the back of the neck. Check in with your legs, make sure they're comfortable, reposition them if you need to. Bend the knees if you need to. Let your feet flop outwards to the sides of your mat. Make sure your arms are a little away from the sides of your body with your palms turned up. So that's going to allow your shoulders to just rest further on the floor. Is there any part of your body you now need to move to make yourselves completely comfortable? If so, please do it. And then you can start to relax. This time is important because it is now that we integrate all the work from our yoga poses into our bodies. I'm going to take you through a brief guided meditation that you can choose to follow if you wish. And it's going to use the concept of heaviness. So use your imagination and the knowledge you have of your body and how heaviness feels. So starting now, feel your right leg heavy. From your right hip to the sole of your right foot. And when you're ready, switch your attention to your left leg and feel that heavy now too, from your left hip to your left foot. Move your attention again, now aware of the right arm feeling heavy, from your right shoulder to the fingertips on your right hand. Now your left arm heavy, from left shoulder to the fingertips of your left hand. Then become aware of your spine, the whole of your back resting on the mat, and feel that as heavy. The back of your neck heavy, and your head heavy too. Feel that the whole of your body is heavy and relaxed. Maybe you'd like to imagine that you're lying on some soft, warm sand. And visualize how deep the imprint would be of your body resting in that sand. Bring a gentle attention to the skin on the soles of your feet. Then on your heels, your arches, and across your toes. Now the skin on the palms of your hands. Feeling the creases in the skin that runs across the palms and the skin down your fingers. Now aware of the skin on your face. Let it soften across your forehead and around your eyes. Feel it down your nose and across your cheeks, around your jaw and your throat. Bring yourselves back to your breath and notice how subtle it is now and how still your body is resting on the floor. Breathe in through your nose and breathe out the space behind your closed eyes, and keep practicing. This is a space that is black, velvety, warm and infinite. A space that extends in all dimensions, sides, back, up, down, front. come back to your breath. Come back to your physical body. Start to make some small movements here and there, just a little wriggle maybe of your fingers and your toes, maybe just moving your head and your neck on the mat. And then do what feels right for you right now. You might want to curl up into a little ball, just hugging the knees in, rocking gently on the floor. Or you might want to go into a full body stretch and take your hands as far away from your feet as you can. Or do a combination of the two. Then can you roll over to the right side of your mat and just rest and maybe let your eyes open. Just coming back into the day. And before we get up, I'd like you to think of 3 things that we can be grateful for today. All this weird stuff going on around us. 3 things. There are many, I'm sure, in everyone's life, but 3 things now that are important to you and you are grateful for. And then make your way up slowly. Come back onto your mat. Let's sit beautifully tall after all our stretching today. Let's bring our hands together, prayer pose. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll be back for more. Namaste.